Okay, welcome to my tutorial on the 4 motor mounts on the 2002 Chrysler Town & Country. So far I've replaced 3 out of the 4 mounts. There's the one right here, right by the radiator, the motor mount that I replaced first. But then I had a lot of transmission rattle, not because of the mount, but that was basically coming from bad or shot transmission mounts. And there's the one under the battery. Let me get over to that one. Let's see if I can get some light on it. The one over below the battery. Let's see if I can get the light better. Okay, there's the one under the battery that I replaced, and that took a lot of the rattle out. The one right there, just below the battery. And then there's one way back. It's like back behind. It's the rear transmission mount, but you can't really see it from up here. There's a piece of heat shield in the way, and plus all these hoses. But trust me, there is one back there down below. You can see it better from the underside of the van, but I do have a video tutorial on this channel. So far I've done the one by the radiator, under the battery, and the rear transmission mount. The last and final one is up towards the top. I'm hoping that it's the easiest one. It's underneath this air filter, so I'll go ahead and take it off. First I'll remove this hose, this small hose, like disconnect it, and disconnect this larger air hose that goes to the air filtration system. And I'll take it from there. Alright, well, so far I've removed this short fat hose that goes from the engine to this air filtration system. There is a wire sensor or something that I had to remove. It connects from there to the hose. But to release that, you gotta pull back on this little red button. There's like a red locking. Notice with the Town & Country, they have a lot of these for the electrical. It's some kind of locking where you pull it back to unlock it. It's a combination of pulling back to unlock it and then squeezing this little release lever and then pulling back to pull it off this sensor. Now and here's the lid to the air filter. See if I can pan back far enough. It was connected by a metal lever on the back that you pull back on to get it off. And then here's the air filter. I'll see what it looks like. It might need to be replaced here because I live in the desert. There's a lot of dust. So I would not be surprised if it needs to be changed. Alrighty, well, I got this out, the tray that the air filter sets inside of. It was a 10 millimeter that connects from that hole to, where is it? Oh, to that hole right there. From there to there's a 10 millimeter. And then I kept it inside the tray. There's an 8 millimeter that connects from there to that hole right there. Now all that's left is to take those 2 bolts on that side off. And then on the, let's see if I can show this. See if I can get the lighting right. There's a couple bolts on that side that anchors it to the frame. And then there's one, oh wait, no, there's 3 big bolts that mount it or anchor it to the engine itself. But when I look at it, it looks like it's pretty shot. When I have it completely out, I'll show you, but you can see how it's all weathered and cracked and stuff. But when I have it completely out, that mount will really be able to see its condition. Okay, before I start taking the bolts off the mount, I went ahead and stuck a jack with a piece of plywood to evenly distribute the pressure up against the oil pan. So now I'll go up above and start loosening the bolts. Alright, as what I did is on the on the engine side, I loosened this one quite a bit and that one quite a bit. And then I watched as I loosened this one to see if the engine would drop any, and it started dropping quite a bit. So I went back on the underside and started jacking up more, applying more pressure, pressure on the engine, because anywho, see what happens now. Okay, I took out my last and final engine motor mount, and this one also is completely shot. I mean, it's like there's zero resistance at all. It's just loose in there. The rubber's just gone. But anyhow, when I took it off there, all this wire harness, or all these wires, they're connected with a plastic fastener on this hole. So I had to pop it out of this hole. I was just super careful because I don't want to have to rig it up or try to find another fastener or something. So I just gently took a flathead screwdriver and just slowly worked it out of the hole. So now I gotta put it back in. There's the hole. So basically there's 2 holes. They're 15 millimeter. There's one there, and there's one there that go to the frame of the car, and then you have the 3 that go to the engine. Then it stabilizes it, but I'm sure that it'll make quite a difference. Here's my new one, and it's all nice and firm and stiff and stuff. So anyhow, I'll reverse the process, and it came out the easiest for me just to, after I got all the bolts off, to back it out this direction towards the side of the car. I just kind of worked it out underneath these wires, and there was like a hose and stuff, but you just work it out. Anyhow, I'll reverse the process now. Okay, I put the bolts on the frame side, but then where it connects to the engine, there's a huge gap. We're talking about like an inch. So that's how much my engine is sagging. So I'm I'm gonna have to do some jacking again. So here we go. Before I finished assembling the rest, I ran over to Walmart and got myself a new air filter. This one's pretty dirty. I do live in the desert and stuff, and who knows when it was last changed, because we bought this van a couple years ago. So I went ahead and bought a new one. Now the next thing I need to do is put the tray back, like bolt it back in over the top of the motor mount. See the motor mount, the new one is right there. I'll go ahead and bolt the new tray back, the tray back on. So anyhow, in better lighting, I'll show you how bad see the motor mount that goes under the air filter, it was completely gone. But anyhow, so I'll check it out and see like if my van runs even more smooth. I'm sure it made a difference, huh? Well, anyhow, the mount I just replaced was this one, which was completely like gone. And then this was the rear. Okay, this was the motor mount underneath the air filter. This was the transmission mount. That was the rear one they had to get from the underside. And then this was the transmission mount that I replaced that's under the battery. But I replaced the other motor mount about a month ago, and I already threw that one away. But anyhow, she's running nice and smooth now. When I'm at stop signs, and well, basically it made a big difference. I mean, before it was just insane. It felt like it was gonna rattle the whole van apart. But I'm just thankful that nothing broke, like nothing snapped anyhow from the violent shaking that was happening.